kind of area. I'm excited about a boat like this. I think that there is a unique market for a boat like this. Our biggest boat right now is a 56-foot Sunseeker, which is definitely in the yacht class, but a boat like this would put it in a completely different class. And there's really nobody in town that's doing anything like this. I have a 70-foot Ocean Alexander, like a 2018, like
That's
really
a nice boat.
beautiful boat.
Yeah.
And when I went to Fort Lauderdale with the guy, we went to looking at boats. He bought it with the idea he's going to put it in charter. But then I think he made a lot of money doing something, and we're great friends, but I haven't brought up the topic again. I think if I really needed a boat in that class, I could do it. And if I got a boat like this, I would put that boat on the website just because you look bigger and it makes it look
fits
better.
all the parameters of what somebody would think
Right.
a yacht would be.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
whoa.
No, this boat, in fact, I don't know if you saw the Union Tribune this morning, there was an article about super yachts. And Kate Pearson, who's head of the Super Yacht Association, and Todd Roberts, and all the super
Kate's
yacht.
cool. She's cool.
Yeah, Kate is awesome.
Yeah.
But they were talking about super yachts, and they define a super yacht as anything, or the minimum qualifications is 75 feet. So, I mean, by everybody's definition, this is a full-on yacht. And I think that there's a unique market for that. There's a wide range of opportunities, whether it's, bay cruises, which is really our sweet spot right now. I have an idea that I'm going to start putting together and marketing for multi-day for a cruise. So you can go, you get on the Carnival cruise and you go 3 days, you go to here to Catalina, but I'm going to sell like a 3-day cruise, and we have a couple catamarans we're going to market this on. So you do first day you're going to cruise up to Mission Bay, anchor up overnight, gourmet dinner, and just a 3-day itinerary.
Go to Catalina?
Maybe not. So Catalina's 75 miles. It's a lot of fuel. It's a lot of open ocean. I don't think you need to do it. I think you can anchor in La Playa, take the dinghy to Ketch, and do all the same things. You can swim. We have kayaks. We have all the water toys. I don't think I would do Catalina.
Well, you could, but it'd be something special.
Right. But
And
a lot more. But so you have, absolutely. I mean, we'll do all those. We'll have all those options. But there's a relatively inexpensive option in this 3-day local cruise that, we do it all the time. I go out on my buddy's Ocean Alexander right now. We spend the weekend in La Playa, or we go to Glorieta Bay. We take the boat to the yacht club. San Diego is really a phenomenal destination.
Yeah,
and just because you're here doesn't mean that makes it any less.
It's true.
Well, he's from Scottsdale, so he knows the beauty and the thrill of coming out here. And,
Right.
But you're right in what you're saying, of course.
But that being said, we do a tremendous amount of just 4-hour cruises around the bay, which is really where that's low-hanging fruit. There's minimal use of the boat. People are not going down below. They're sitting right here. They're sitting out there. They're not in the bathrooms. They're not in the heads. In the bunks. So we have a wide range.
Let's talk about the minimal use concept first. Kind of start there.
Yeah.
So this would be the queen ship of the fleet then.
This would be absolutely flagship, without a doubt.
Okay. Now, just obviously you had a chance to take a peek at it. What's your gut feeling of per day use that you could get for this?
I'm thinking you're looking at $3,000 a day.
Uh-huh.
And that's just totally without looking at anything. I'm looking at like that, and that's actually like for a 4-hour cruise. I think we get like $1,500 for our cruisers, or $1,500 for the Sunseeker.
You haven't looked around it? You haven't looked around the boat?
No. I haven't looked on the numbers at all. No, the boat is.
It seats 20 upstairs.
Yeah. So you're limited to 6/12, and I'll explain the way that works. So there's 2 different classifications for charters. One is a 6-pack charter. So 6 passengers or fewer. You can rent a boat from me. I can provide a skipper, crew, food. I can do anything I want, and there's essentially no restrictions. Slightly different life jackets, but nothing significant. If you want to go more than 6, there's 2 different ways to do it. You can do 12 passengers on a bareboat basis. So basically, you rent the boat from me. You assume all risks and responsibilities. You hire your own crew and you do your own provisioning. You do a pre and post charter survey. There's a lot of little hoops that we have to go through. And in that scenario, you can have 12 passengers or fewer.
Is that because you don't have a captain that's...
Nope, it has nothing to do with the captain. It has to do with the boat. My captains are 100-ton. I have 100-ton. You can't do it. The law is maximum 12 passengers on any boat. If you rent a pontoon boat from me, if you rented a pontoon boat and the placard on the boat says 14, you can't put more than 12 people on that boat. Goes to the Jones Act. It doesn't matter. If you want to do more than 12 people on any vessel, it has to be an inspected vessel, which means a lot of things you would never do.
What about over 12 sitting at the dock here, though?
No, you can't really do that either. So it depends on the MSO, the Marine Safety Office, and the way they interpret it. I have a buddy that runs a thing in Lake Tahoe, and their people have said, oh yeah, as long as the boat is secured to the dock and is disabled in some way, you can have as many people as you want. San Diego, and I've gone through it with the current guy and the previous guy, they say if the boat is capable in any way of getting underway, then you can't go. So like the Reuben E. Lee, remember, that was technically a boat, but it was not. It was permanently affixed to the dock. So you would have 12 people or fewer. The other part of that is we don't want more than 12 people on this boat.
No.
I mean, I don't know that we would want more than 6 people.
No, but
I'd rather have somebody that has enough money to take 3 couples and do a full-on high-class job and not worry about, putting 12. 6 people, 2 crew. I think that there's a market for that. And the more people you go, the more use and abuse there is.
So you've been all over this boat. You know what it's like.
I have not been all over it. I was on this
tour.
Yeah, I mean, I took the quick tour, and I've been on the other one, it's a sister ship a while back. It was funny. Somebody was also interested in chartering that, and I spent a lot of time on the boat. The boat's phenomenal.
Well, how often could you charter it out, do you think?
So this is it's a tough thing to say. Like, this is a tough one because
educated guess. Yeah.
Well, but like if we wanted to talk about a 40-foot sailboat, I could tell you to a gnat's ass what that boat would do. But this is a new market. It's way higher end, and it kind of depends on how aggressive you want to be. So if you want to do, my philosophy is, guy wants to buy a boat. I want you to buy the boat you want and buy the boat that's going to make you the happiest that it could possibly do. And then I'm going to work my ass off to make that more affordable, easier to own. So, if you don't like people with red hair, you say, I don't want anybody with red hair on the boat, then that's a restriction we put in the contract. So, it depends on your restrictions. If you say, you can do overnights, you can do corporate meetings, you can do this, you can do that. I think first year, $100,000 in terms of gross revenue would not be at all out of the ballpark. Again, it matters if you're going to be here, every weekend in July and August, that's going to cut down on revenue. But assuming normal usage from what we see with the owners, I would hope to go $100,000 in gross revenue year one, and then we develop the market from there.
Okay, now obviously some of these questions are a total guess, but
yes.
You've been around for a while.
Yeah.
The Hatteras there, it's at Kona Kai. If Tim decided to charter that, but it couldn't be here, what would be the difference in revenue he could get from that? What value does this have with this slip, with that beautiful view, and this newer boat?
So the Kona Kai is actually, I don't have anything at the Kona Kai, but I have a great relationship there, so we could charter it out of there.
Yeah.
We could also, it doesn't really matter where it lives because we could move it. So, a lot of our stuff is picked up from the Hotel del Coronado. A lot of their stuff is still picked up here. So I would say having the slip here is great and convenient.
Yes.
But it's not it's not really that much in terms of a revenue generator, which may not be what you want to hear. But because we have a facility here, the boat will be available out of this. We're going to market it to these people. We're going to market it to the Hilton and to the Hyatt. So we would do the same marketing. It makes it way easier. It makes it easier to show the boat. So it's right here.
Well, that's why I thought it might rent a lot more, because it's right here.
Yeah, so you do get something for that. I should correct that. There's also, as it stands right now, we would not be able to do anything at this slip. So we would have to, in order to charter it, we would have to move it over to our dock, pick it up at F dock where we have a slip, pick up over on the charter dock, because that's the deal that I currently have with the Marriott. Frank is actually, fortunately, a friend of mine at this point, which makes it easier to
Not too many
approach.
people can say that.
No, yeah, it's kind of nice. But I mean, that being said, I wouldn't, not based on our friendship, but based on the business relationship, I think that there's a possibility that we could actually do stuff on this at this. If we could use the boat at the slip, like for these corporate meetings that we have, that
Which
would
I think
have.
he'd cut you some slack.
I
there.
think so, but I don't want to promise something I don't have. That I
Exactly.
do not have. But
Well,
the corporate meeting
the
stuff.
Marriott might like that too.
No, they do. Well,
Because they
it's
don't
funny.
have to walk out and get on the boat.
Right, but they, for whatever
Another
reason, they let us do these crazy corporate meetings. I have 4 or 5 meetings a year where we'll bring in a bunch of boats. They tie up to the dock, and they pay a fair amount of money for the boat to sit at the dock. Now you would think that is in direct competition with the hotel. The hotel rents meeting space. I'm renting meeting space. So I did it kind of under the radar for a little while, and then it got big enough. They got banners and stuff. So I talked to the head of the sales department. He's like, "Well, how much are you doing?" I'm like, I told him honestly, it's like, it's peanuts on the airplane. Nobody cares. Just do it. So it's not in competition, but they're not going to sell it for you.
Okay. So you've never done anything like that in conjunction with the Marriott.
They will refer people on occasion, but they don't book it.
Okay, so the reason why I was saying that, where was I? I was on it's probably been 2 months ago now. I was on the East Coast, and we were at, Plymouth, or I can't remember. It wasn't Newport. Anyway, the hotel had a relationship with a restaurant that had been on this beach for a long time.
Right.
And they apparently, the guy didn't want to sell it, so they had some sort of arrangement where they would send people, but they get a piece of the action.
Right.
It's virtually on their property. Most people thought the
Right.
restaurant was part of the
Right.
hotel,
Right.
but it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, we get a huge amount of business from the hotel. I mean, we're their vendor for all the water sports stuff. But in terms of the meetings, we don't get. I do get tons of charter referrals, just regular,
Maybe the
but
sweet
not the
spot
meetings.
is to have them cater it.
I tried that too,
They didn't
and they
go for
didn't
it?
know. And that's really the hotel
That's
is
surprising.
really in the food and beverage business.
Right.
Hotels are not in the room business.
No,
It's
they're in the
food and
food-
beverage.
absolutely.
But that being said, we also do. I mean, they bring clients in. They're trying to sell a big association, and they'll always use one of our boats to take them out and sell the deal. It's a weird deal, but we do. I sell out on them. I don't have any more space, so I'm not really pressing that too hard because we sell out. But if this boat in this slip would certainly be really nice. But that's there's all kinds.
It may
of
not
things we can
germane. It's just icing on a
do.
cake.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right now, the restrooms don't look real nice over there, but I suppose they'll be getting rid of those soon.
Over there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for the.
It was the
the
Bayfest yesterday.
Oh, Bayfest yesterday, and then we also have
was
this.
packed.
Yeah, I didn't come down. I was supposed to, but then next weekend we have a huge music festival down here.
It's going to be in the same spot?
Same. Well, it's actually like 5 different spots. There, Seaport Village. It's a huge deal.
Well, I was telling Tim because he's been coming out here a long time, but he's not usually here on the weekends.
Right.
But
It was so busy yesterday, I couldn't believe it.
rock and rolls on the weekend.
Yeah. No, there's always something going on, which is fun. I mean, that's what makes the Marriott. Like, my buddy wanted to buy. It's funny. He wanted to buy an 80-foot Hatteras, and he thought he could figure out. He was finagling how to move this and that. He was trying to to keep a slip here, and it didn't work. So he was going to go to Kona Kai, and his wife's like, "You can buy an 80-foot boat all you want. I only want a boat if it's at the Marriott."
Yeah.
Like it's the spot. We hang out. We spend the night. We go to the gas lamp. I mean, Kona Kai's a very nice marina. They got
Beautiful.
facilities, but it's not here. It's not here. It's not
That's
here.
what I've been telling Tim.
Yeah, which
And I think he
Sounds-
knows in the back of his mind, but
Oh, I know that's true. Of
so
course. I like it here too. I've been trying to get, I put in offers on boats here,
right,
and then Frank says, "Well, of course, this has to leave after you sit when you're
right,
ready to
because
sell."
of they had a size
Overhang.
limit, right, the overhang, which they've relaxed a little bit, but not. I mean, it's like
well
2
now
feet.
that Umberland's
Frank.
gone, and
Yeah.
once again, this is not.
Hi, how you doing?
This is my buddy Glenn and host of actually Chris's old boat.
Yeah. Hey, Glenn. Andy Kurtz.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Glenn, have a seat over there. or whatever looks comfortable to you.
So, what is your goal in chartering it? So, you want to own a boat. What do you want out of a charter relationship?
Minimal hassle and a way to reduce the cost of the boat.
Okay.
So, putting 1.4 is what is asking price in this boat, and it's like, well, I can do that, but man, the slip fees, you got $3,000 a month in slip fees, and
Now there's cash burn, no doubt about it.
Yeah, there is. It's like, woo. It's like getting it's like buying insurance if you're an insurance person and the person's sick, and so you're buying that maintenance cost by trying to keep that person alive. It's like, we'll pass on that one.
Yeah.
But they're all patients
Right.
here. So.
Right.
So yeah, if I could offset the cost of having the boat and maintaining it, that would be good.
Sure.
As long as I could do it with minimal breakage, and
Right.
I certainly wouldn't want just anybody
No.
taking the boat out of the bay. It'd have to be a captain.
No, we wouldn't do anything. We did would require the boat would require a licensed captain,
Yeah.
and we have probably 25 names on the captain's list, and there's probably 4 that I would use on a boat like this. I mean, this is definitely high end. So that part is not a huge. I mean, that part is pretty easy in terms of the operation of the boat.
All right, so out of $100,000, just throwing that figure out.
55%. So you pay the Marriott, you pay me, and you pay the port.
So he gets $55,000.
55 grand.
Okay, so then on top of that, he has the write-offs, tax-wise.
Yeah, so that's a huge deal. So for one, you're going to save. I say things with an asterisk that you're going to save your property tax. So the way our contract between us is that your boat is part of a rental fleet. It's not a charter boat; it's a rental boat. And as a rental boat, it is considered business inventory, and business inventory is not taxable on the property tax in the state of California.
That's a wonderful proposition.
That's a wonderful proposition. So that has been tested. The county tax assessor went after a couple of my guys. It never has been. It's always prevailed. We have never had a case where they went back. We had a guy that he lived in Orange County, both Orange County and San Diego went after the guy. They both wanted him to pay, didn't have to pay either one. So that being said, I will never say that that's for sure because A, I'm not a tax guy, and B,
Who knows what they're going to do tomorrow?
Right.
But right now,
does
not appear to be a problem.
So that's a big number. That's 1.1% annually. It goes up every 4% or something every year.
All right, so just let's briefly throw some numbers together. So he's going to pay $36,000 here for the slip 10. Let's say another 20 on top of that, just for round figures.
Right.
Let's say there's 55,000 right there, so that would cancel out that or 50.
Well, plus the slip rent, the maintenance, the bottom cleaning, everything,
even his
is
transportation
now
out here.
Yeah, absolutely, it's all deductible because
it's
you do an LLC, it's a business, and people are like, oh, do I have to do this and that? No, I mean you own a business. Fortunately, boats are not the same as real estate. If you own real estate, there's a million different specific rules for that. But boats, you're in the boat rental business just like I'm in the boat rental business. If I never go to work, it doesn't diminish my value. The fact that it's a business. So you've hired somebody to do this, and this. So it is full on legitimate. And I have guys. I have tax accountants. I have attorneys. I got all these people that know how to do it and have successfully defended that. So it's active K1 loss against any other income that you have, which is a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's say $60,000 in expenses a year.
Right.
All right, let's just say 30% tax. So he'll get a third of that back. So that's $20,000. So he's up 55 and 20. So he's up $75,000 by charter.
I got lost in the math.
Yeah, I got lost in math too.
All right, so $60,000 in operational costs that he can write off, tax write-off.
Right.
Let's say he's in the 30%.
He can write off more than that if he has other income that he can write it off against, correct?
Right, but
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No, but his loss is going to be
Right.
$60,000. Your gross loss
is
$60,000. But you also have interest. You have
right.
But so that's where you've got $60,000.
Whatever the costs are,
Right.
It may be more. I may
We're
want
just
a
talking
full-time attendant on the boat,
Right.
to take care of it while I'm not here.
Right.
Well, and that's
You can
not
do that.
covering his travel costs and
Right.
things of
So
that
what?
nature.
Right. So there's whatever that loss is
Tax deductible.
is a tax deductible.
Well, it's
So let's say he's in the 30% tax bracket. He might be in higher than that. So he'd be saving $20,000 there,
Right.
plus the 55 that you're giving him. So that's $75,000 a year he gets for chartering the boat out, just to give him a number in his head to see.
Well, that's an odd way to look at it, but
Because the 30 grand is offset by the 55 in
Right.
gross. I mean, you got to do, but that's, I mean, those numbers. I mean, those are not casual numbers. Those are like serious pro forma numbers. From my, I mean,
yeah,
I mean, I can throw out gross and I can throw out net from the charter. I can tell you that the boat is, you can not only deduct it, you can deduct I think you can deduct 500K the first year if you want to on the Section 179, but that would depend on how long you want to keep it because there's a recapture on that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, the tax savings are phenomenal. You'd have to, I mean, you're going to spend a couple bucks and you're going to give all the stuff to
An accountant.
accountant and let them give it to you.
Do you have an accountant that is a California accountant that you work with
Yes.
that handles
Yes.
other boats in the fleet?
Nick Tarleson, he's in San Francisco. I've given this guy tons of stuff. Everybody loves him, and he totally has it down.
So he'd figure out everything on the boat and then pass it off to my accountant who
Yes.
finish
And
off my
and
account.
chances are you call your accountant tomorrow and say, hey, I'm going to buy a boat and I'm going to put it into charter service and I'm going to write it off. And they're going to say, no, you can't. If your accountant's like my accountant, like they're super conservative. But he's done it. I mean, this guy will tell you definitively, and we have lots and lots of people that do it. There's zero reason. Boats are a luxury item, so accountants get all kind of squirrely on it. But if you owned a Ferrari and had it in a rental program, it's the same thing.
It's the same.
It doesn't matter that it's
or a luxury condo.
absolutely
It's
same.
more-
Right.
You
So
know,
that-
well, John, that you the 411
uh-huh.
that you charter out for him.
Uh-huh.
He also has a
Yeah, Ferrari. That's
and
funny.
a
He does have,
Lamborghini.
right.
And he charters those out.
Right.
No, he charters everything out.
Yeah, he does. He's a pain in the ass, by the way, but that's not important right now.
Well, that goes two ways, doesn't
Yo,
it?
absolutely.
I've never met.
His partner is also a pain in the ass.
Steve.
What makes him a pain in the ass?
Well, they both like to use the boat, which is great. I said right from the get-go, if you want to use the boat every weekend, that's okay. But he wants the boat to be available every day of the year. And if he's on it, just call and I'll quickly get off of it. I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Because first
You've
of
got
all,
to make
you
plans,
just
man.
it doesn't work that way. And then he'll leave. He has a camera. He loves to have cameras. So he's taking pictures of my clients while they're on the boat, and I'm like,
You can't
that's
do that.
illegal. Oh no, I only do it when it's at the dock. I'm like, I don't care when you do it. And then he calls me up. I mean, I can go on and on. He calls me up. He's like, your captain stole beer from the boat. I'm like, my captain didn't steal beer. So he left a cooler full of beer in the cockpit.
That was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I will steal beer, 100%. If there's beer on
It's
this boat
there,
right
the
now, I'm going to
charter's
take
over,
it. I
it's
think,
gone.
right. So anyway, so he calls me up. He's watching my captain after the charter. He gets beer. It turned out my guy, first of all, I wouldn't care if he had taken it. And second of all, he had put the beer in because the fridge was already full. Like, just relax yourself. Like, I don't want somebody looking over my shoulder all the time. I'm honest as the day is long. We do a good job. If you don't know that we were here because the boat is clean and it's perfect, we should have a great relationship. Anyway,
So,
little venting.
I missed-
Sorry.
No, that's good. That's good.
So I missed the first part of the conversation.
Yes.
So excuse me for asking.
No.
But I'm assuming that you kind of chartered, get coming back up. It looks like nothing ever happened, and he just
Right.
loaned you the boat.
The way the deal is supposed to work is we erase that we were on the boat. You know, everything is back in order, totally clean. The beds are, you know, if somebody's overnight, the beds have fresh linen. Everything is ready to go for you. That being said, you know, we have a no red wine policy. But let's say somebody
I'm all for
sits.
that.
No. Yeah. I mean, you don't want red wine on a
No.
boat. But let's say somebody's sitting in there and the captain doesn't know, and they spill red wine on there. So that's our responsibility to make that go away. It's not like I'm going to say, oh, okay, well, you know, that's $100 worth of repair. I'm going to credit you $100. We are responsible for making those things go away. Will something happen? Yes. I mean, eventually something's going to happen, but that's 100% on us. Anything that happens, you know, a guy burns it with a cigar. No cigars on the boat. But, I mean, things happen. We replace the cushions, you know, whatever it is. So
Second question.
yes.
Liability insurance. he's going to have an insurance policy on the boat if he buys it. But he's
Correct.
going to have some kind of special
Right.
policy.
So
right?
we do what we'll typically do for the charter policy is I will have you insured with, it's actually IMU, International Marine Underwriters, same guy that has all of our boats, and part of that policy is a charter endorsement. So you really don't even pay more for this policy than you would for most non-charter policies. It's like $750 a year for the additional liability. And like if I would guess on your boat, you're probably paying about 0.5% of the hull value for your
Insurance.
hull
Yeah.
insurance, and this would be the same, approximately the same.
Yeah.
So there's really not a big expense. That being said,
So let me get this right before you go on. So
Yes.
you do an endorsement over to the boats in the fleet.
we do. So the boat that we get you written on a policy that has a charter endorsement in it. So you're not going to go
Okay.
to Scott Jarvie, who you probably use, and do your own policy. You're going to do your own policy, but through our broker, our agency,
Okay.
and
So
you're
I
covered
used to
for
use
that.
whatever it is.
Overseas.
Ocean or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
that's Scott Jarvie.
Yeah.
That I would say, on a boat like this. So we carry $1 million reliability insurance on all of the boats in our fleet. I mean, anything that we do is $1 million. I have another $3 million umbrella on top of that, and your liability is relatively small. Now, clearly, litigious people are litigious people, but you're not
Well, I
a
have an
party to
umbrella
the
too. I think
yeah.
it's $2 or $3 million
Yeah,
umbrella.
you're not a party to the transaction.
But somebody may make you, but they got it.
Right, but-
there's
but-
lots of other stops before. okay?
100% right.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other stops because the charterer, the customer that's on the boat, is there by my permission, not by your permission. And
Yeah.
then the third level is you absolutely have the boat in an LLC, so there's another level of protection. So, I mean,
Right.
liability is liability.
Right.
Everything we do, and if you're doing things on the water, liability is significantly higher than if you were, walking down the sidewalk. But it's well managed. There's also some legal precedent that gives you some great insulation with the Jones Act and blah, 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 blah.
That's the second time you mentioned the Jones Act.
Yeah, it's the Bible that we live by in the charter industry. It's all the rules governing charters outside. I mean, all the basis of all the rules says you can't have more than 12 people. Regulates the amount of crew. Regulates the amount of time the crew can be used. It says that your boat has to be either an American-made vessel or a
Domiciled in America. Anyway.
yeah, and actually, it's
Registered.
supposed to be registered as a offshore. I mean, special registration.
Now,
All
let's
this-
being this boat is made in England. Is that a problem?
It's not a problem for one thing. We're going to do everything as a bareboat charter. So if it's a bareboat charter, the agreement between us and the customer, then it doesn't matter whether it's in U.S. or not. Second, it's more than 3 years old, so we'll do a MARAD exception, also a Jones Act deal. It's actually an act of Congress that will flag your boat as a U.S. flag vessel. Costs $500, and they send it in, and it comes back, and your boat is now a U.S. essentially U.S. made vessel.
It might have already been done.
It may be. I didn't look at the document, but it could be. Although most people really wouldn't care to have. I mean, unless you're going to charter it, you don't really care about the MARAD exception. And that's also, for whatever reason, of all the ridiculous things the Coast Guard does, they never pay attention to that. I have a ton of French-made boats that we do six-pack charters on that technically should have that MARAD, and they never ask.
All the sailboats you got.
All the sailboats. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. What other thoughts come to your mind when you're looking at this boat?
I think that if we can figure out a way to do dockside meetings, we could make a lot of money on this for that. I mean, to me, that's just like, that is pretty exciting because it's just super luxury. I mean, this is nicer than any suite at the hotel, and if we can do that, those are great. It's daytime use. They come and they have meetings on the boat. I just see it as perfect for that. But that's
Could you see him doing meetings upstairs?
oh,
But
absolutely.
you still can't have more than 12 people.
Only 12 people, but that's okay. Like I said, we don't want more than 12 people.
And that doesn't include crew.
Doesn't include crew. So you could have, I think, 2 or 3 crew members.
So if I wanted to work a charter on this
You
boat,
cannot do it.
I couldn't work
Can't do it.
Well, not
telling
get paid. I
No,
mean,
you don't
even
want
if
to do
you
it.
can't be on the vessel.
I
So
couldn't
if we're
even be on
doing,
it.
if we have 6 people or fewer, you could. But if we have more than 6 and we're doing it as a bareboat charter, the owner of the vessel cannot be on it. Again, I'm telling you, this is really a
Even
law
though
from the
it's through an LLC?
It doesn't make any difference. You are still considered the master of the vessel, and you cannot be on it. So the way with a bareboat charter, you are relinquishing all rights and responsibilities of the vessel for the duration of the charter. So if you're on it, you're not doing it. So we can put restrictions. We can say you can be you can charter it. You have all the rights and responsibilities, but in order to do it, you have to have a 100-ton master's license. You have to have that, which we do. But you, as the owner, cannot be on it. We have a lot of guys say, "Oh, I'm going to be the owner
Can't
operator."
be there.
Can't do it. Yeah.
That's too bad, because
Yeah.
it'd be fun.
Right.
You're thinking bachelorette parties. Huh?
Well, of course, that, but...
But his friend can
I'm
be
a real
on board,
social
right?
guy. I'm like
Right.
Chris, probably like you.
Yeah.
I'm a real social guy, so that would be fun. Nobody would have to know.
No.
it's my
You're just
boat.
right. You just
It's
you know
just me.
you,
Here it
yeah,
is.
you put
Here's
on
a
your
drink,
your crew shirt.
Tim,
and-
I'll be here to look after your interest.
Yeah.
but if we're doing
Well,
it,
that might be arranged. That
if
would
we
be
were
cool.
doing when we do 6 or fewer, you can be on the boat, no problem.
What if he had his captain's license?
Doesn't make any difference.
Oh, it
Doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
If he has his captain license, he could run the boat with 6 or fewer passengers.
What?
But with more than 6, the owner of the vessel 100% cannot be on the boat.
Under
and I
any-
thought it's funny because I did test the. You're not the owner of the vessel. The LLC owns
Right.
the boat, but they don't care. They say you're the guy, the managing partner of the LLC, which makes you de facto the person.
But, and the reason is because...
Jones Act, baby.
So it doesn't matter why.
It doesn't matter. Well, what it matters. I mean, so the reason for that is that if you're on the boat, then you have not relinquished responsibility and rights and responsibility.
Well, even if you say you had, even if you wrote it down,
Doesn't matter.
it gave it away. It doesn't matter because
Doesn't matter.
bureaucrats say it does
Oh,
matter.
this is. So the Jones Act was written to protect U.S. shipbuilding. That's the basis of it, and then it also goes on to protect seamen on the high seas. But the basis of the law was to protect U.S. shipbuilding, and so all these things are derivative. Really, it's from the 1800s, but it is very much cast in stone. There was a revision to the law in 1978, I think, Vessel Passenger Safety Act of '78. But nothing significant. The only thing it did, and this actually is something that I would look into. So this boat has a gross tonnage of 84 or 85 gross tons. If the boat is 100 gross tons, then that same everything I said that applies for a 6-passenger charter now applies for 12 passengers. So that there's a provision in the law that says a 100-ton vessel now can do 6-pack charters on a 12-passenger.
So with
boat.
a dinghy and full of fuel.
No. It's not the weight. It's the way. It's actually cargo carrying capacity. But there's ways to get your boat remeasured